What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another very special edition of Coding with Robbie. I haven't seen you guys in a while. I've been kind of busy, haven't made too many videos. But in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how you can do basically CSS toggles. So opening menus, modals, all that with pure CSS and no JavaScript. So this is kind of a hidden trick with CSS. I don't think a lot of people know about this. So if that sounds interesting to you, stick around and make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment. And yeah, let's get right into it. So before we begin, I wanted to give a demo of what we'll be building. So I have a header up here with a hamburger menu, and when you click it, it's going to open up the navigation. You can also close it. And then if you go to desktop, it's going to turn into a normal menu that always displays. And then we also did a modal. So if you click this button right here, it's going to open up a modal. And you can put your content, do whatever you want in here. And then we have a close button right here. So when you click it, it's going to close down. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's all done with CSS. So let's get right into it. So I will be starting with an empty index.html that's connected to a style sheet right here. This is also empty, and that's it. So let's get into it. So in order to do this, you have to understand how checkboxes and these fancy selectors work. So let's talk about it. We have an input, type is equal to checkbox. And basically, we're going to be using these to manage state instead of using JavaScript. So if we go to our page, it's just a normal checkbox. Let me zoom in some. So you've probably seen these 1,000 times. And inputs can have labels, so we can go label, I agree to the terms. And if we go back, we got that label, and if we click it, nothing happens. So in order to connect this label to this checkbox right here, you have to give the checkbox an ID. So let's go toggle. And then the label has a for attribute, which has the ID of the input it's connecting to. So let's go toggle, and then if we go back, now these two are connected, and we can click the label to toggle the checkbox. Okay, the next part we got to do is, let's add some text here. Let's just go hello world. And one thing to note is that the label can be anywhere on the page. So I could put it down here, and it would still work with that checkbox, no problem. And then the last part is we can use kind of a fancy CSS selector. So let's go to style, and we can get our toggle input, and we can say, hey, when that's checked, and then we can use this little squiggly, and this just means, hey, find a sibling down the line. So say we were, right here, this is checked, and we say, hey, label, it would go down to label and select this. So in our case, let's get the H1, and let's just go color is equal to red. Save that, and we go back, and now when we check it, it's going to turn the text red. And basically we can do this for everything. We can create modals, we can create hamburger menus, maybe toggle things, I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff you can do with this. So in our case, we're going to start by building a header menu. So let's do that now. Let's just delete everything we got, and let's lay out the HTML. So let's go header class is equal to header. And then maybe we'll have a div class is equal to header inner. And this will just kind of be a container for the content. And then inside, we're probably going to want a logo on the left. So I'll just do an H1 tag with coding with Robbie. On the right, we're going to have our nav. So let's go div, our UL class is equal to nav. And then the menu is going to have some list items, which have anchor tags inside, which just link to nothing for right now. And we'll probably have maybe 3 or 4 of these. So let's go 2, 3, 4. And maybe they say home, about, contact, services. All right, let's check that out. We got our H1, we got the menu right there. So by default, I don't like having these bullets and the underline. So let's get rid of that. Let's go to our style. We can delete this now. Let's go to LI, we'll go list style none, and we'll go to A and go text decoration none, and that's going to get rid of that. There we go. Let's reset all the margins and everything. So I'm going to do the star, which is it selects everything, and we can go margin 0, padding 0, and then I'm going to add box sizing border box. And this just makes it so the padding is on the inside of the container instead of the outside. And pretty much every website has this, and you probably don't realize it. There we go. So now let's change the font. Let's go to body, and I'll just go font family, and let's do the system font stack, which is right here. Go back, check it out. All right, it's starting to look better. And let's design that menu. So let's go dot header. It's gonna be height. We'll go 80 pixels. And then we'll give it a border bottom. Maybe 1 pixel solid number DDD. And let's put display flex. Align item center. And this will just make it so the content within that 80 pixels is centered vertically. All right, let's go to our header inner. And then let's put the logo and the navigation side by side and spread out. So display flex again. Align item center. Justify content, space between. And then we got that navigation, which I just did class nav. So let's get that. And let's make it display inline flex, so all the items are next to each other. And let's go align item center, and let's put a gap of 32 pixels between each one. And let's see what that gets us. So we'll refresh. So it's side by side, they're not spread out. So what we have to do is go to header inner and say, hey, it should always be width 100%. There we go. Now let's put a max width and some padding on the left and right. So let's go padding, 0 and 20 pixels. And we'll say max width is 1200 pixels. And then let's center that. We can go justify content center on the parent. Go back. There we go. We got a max width and it's side by side. And if I did zoom out, there is a max width on it. So if you do get bigger, it'll cap right there. But let's zoom back in and let's change these links to a different color. So let's go .nav a, whoops. And let's just make it color number 666. And then .nav a hover. When someone hovers over a link, we'll go color number 111. Let's add a transition on that. So transition, it's going to take 0.2 seconds to transition from 666 to 111. Now if we go back and we hover, it does a cool like fade in effect. All right, so now we kind of need to design how this should look on mobile when the hamburger menu is open. So let's minimize it as if we're on mobile. Let me zoom out a little bit. All right, and when we're kind of on this size, we're going to absolutely position this menu so it shows down here. And then we'll put a little hamburger on the right here that toggles that menu. So let's create a media query down here. So let's go min width 800 pixels. And we're kind of going to erase some stuff and redo some stuff. But the first thing we got to do is go to our nav here. Let's move this down below. Go up here. So when we're on mobile, so all the stuff above is going to be mobile. And then when we're 800 pixels or greater, it'll go inside here. So let's go up to the mobile version right here. And instead of this, I'm just going to go display block, position absolute. And let's just make it background blue so we can see what's happening. Let's go back, refresh. We got it right here. So let's define some coordinates. Let's go top 0, left 0. And there we go. And now let's make it 100% width. There we go. And then we want this to display below the header. And if we look up, we know the header is exactly 80 pixels in height. So instead of top 0, let's do top 80 pixels. There we go. Let's get rid of this background and make it white. And then let's add a border to the bottom of this. So let's go border bottom. 1 pixel solid number DDD. All right, it's starting to look better. Let's add some padding to these anchor tags. So let's go here. Let's go display block so it's full width. And then let's go padding 20 pixels. There we go. Let's put dividers between each one. So let's go .nav li. And let's see. We already have the border on the bottom. So let's actually move it from up here and let's just put it down here. There we go. And that's pretty much how it should look on mobile. So let's add the hamburger menu right here. Let's go back here. And we're going to be using a checkbox to manage the state. So let's go to the very top and we'll go input type is equal to checkbox. And we'll give it an ID of toggle menu. And then for a hamburger, that's going to be a label for this checkbox. So let's go right here, label for. This is going to be for toggle menu. And then maybe inside the label, we just have some hamburger bars. So let's go span class is equal to hamburger bar. And we're going to have 3 of those. So let's copy this, 2, 3. And then up here, let's give it class hamburger. Class is equal to hamburger. And then we'll style it up right now. So let's go to our style.css and I'll put it above my navigation stuff. I'm going to go .hamburger. Let's go width is 24 pixels and we'll do display block. And then we got .hamburger bar. And we'll go width is 100%, display block. Height is 2 pixels, border radius 2 pixels. Let's see, let's go background, number 111. And then when there's a hamburger bar after another, we got to add some margin top to it. So to do that, we can just go margin top is 4 pixels. And this selector works similar to the tilde thing I showed you earlier, except this one has to be the immediate sibling. So it's not gonna go, hey, there's one down here also, do it. It's just gonna look at the very next sibling on the list. So margin top, let's go 4. Let's see how that looks. Let's go back. And there we go. We got our menu right there and our checkbox up here. So we don't need to display this. We can just hide it. So let's just go up here, toggle menu, display none. And before I refresh, just make sure clicking the hamburger toggles that on and off. It does. Okay, so now let's hide this and only show it when that checkbox is checked. So let's go to our nav. And I'm just going to push it off screen to the left. So let's go left is negative 9999 pixels. It's gone. And then let's go, we're going to transition it so it fades in. So let's start it with opacity 0. And then let's do it. So when it's checked, it's going to do that. So we have .toggle menu. Let's go hashtag toggle menu. And then we want to find a sibling later on. And the sibling we want is .header. And then inside of .header, we want to go to .nav. And this should be when it's checked. So now we can go opacity 1, left 0. So it's just going to fade in instantly, but check it out. So now I can, oh, it's not working. What did I do wrong? Oh, I forgot the checked right here. So only happens when that's checked. So now if we go back, doesn't show, click it, shows, and we can toggle it on and off. So now let's fix this transition, and this is kind of a fancy thing, but let's go right here and we'll go transition, and we're gonna go left. So we don't want the left property to have a transition time. It's just gonna shift instantly, and then the fade in will happen. So we have to go left 0 seconds, and then we have to put a delay of 0.2 seconds, and then we'll go opacity 0.2 seconds. And then we're also going to do it on the down here. We have to change it a little bit. So down here, I'm looking off my cheat sheet. We just leave that at 0 seconds. Okay, so let me kind of explain this. So it's kind of weird, but we're going to click it, and then it's going to go to this block right here and use this transition. And it's going to say, hey, transition to left just instantly. So it'll shift over, and then the opacity is going to take 2 seconds to fade in. So you'll see the fade in and out. And then when you close it, it shifts back to this transition. And it says, hey, wait 0.2 seconds before you shift it back over here. So it's going to wait for this opacity change before it goes off screen again. So let's make sure it works. And you can see it fading in and out now. And that's pretty much the toggle. So now we're just going to finish it up on desktop. When we do get to 800 pixels, nothing happens right now, but let's fix that up. So let's go down to our breakpoint down here. So yeah, we're going to turn nav to inline flex again, align item setter, add that gap back. We have to set it back to position static. There we go. And then let's put width auto again. All right, we don't need this hamburger anymore, so we can just hide that. Let's go up here and just go dot hamburger. Display none. Go back and check that out. It's gone. Let's get rid of this padding and border and stuff. So that was dot nav. What had the border? Was it li? Yep. So let's go dot nav li. We'll go border none. And then we had dot nav a. Let's get rid of the padding. Let's see where that puts us. Okay, that looks pretty good on desktop. So now we got mobile and desktop. All right, so I was playing with it a little bit more and we do actually have a bug. So say we open this menu and then we close it and then we go to desktop, it's not gonna show it all. And if we look inside dev tools and we go to our nav right here, why is it not showing? It's because we have opacity 0 still. So we have to modify that when we get to desktop. So let's go to our breakpoint down here. And when we are at 800 pixels or greater, this needs opacity 1. And then we don't have to mess with the left because switching it to position static automatically gets rid of those. So now if we go back and refresh, let's open, close it, open it again. It now displays good. And then one other adjustment we can make is I want it so it shows the pointer finger when we hover over this. So let's go to our hamburger and let's go cursor is pointer. Just like that. And then if we go back and refresh, now we get the pointer finger. We can open it, close it, go to desktop, close it again, open it, desktop, close it. Everything's working good. So it's going to be the same exact concept for a modal. So let's go ahead and design this out real quick. So let's just go and minimize our header. We'll go down here, div class is equal to modal. And then we'll use this parent div as kind of an overlay for the whole screen. And then inside that, we'll have a box. Div class is modal box. And then I'm not going to take too much time designing the whole thing. So let's just put some text. I am inside of the modal. All right. And then let's just design this real quick. Let's go dot modal. And we're going to fix position it on top of everything. So let's go position fixed. And we'll go top 0, left 0, width is 100%, height is 100%. Z index, which is the layer it's on. So the higher, the more priority it has. Let's go 999. Let's give it a background color. And we'll do a transparent black. So let's go RGBA 000 and then 0.7 opacity. Let's see what that does. There we go. Let's do the modal box now. Modal box, and let's go with 90%, max width 600 pixels, background is white. Let's go padding 60 pixels, border radius maybe 16 pixels. Let's just go text align center, refresh. There we go. Let's put this in the center. So let's just go up to the parent. We'll go display flex. And then down here, we'll go margin auto. And that should center it. There we go. And then if we are smaller, I want some space on the top and bottom. So let's go padding 40 pixels 0. Check that out. And then we got to be able to scroll. So let's go overflow auto. Looks pretty good. So now let's do the toggle stuff. Let's go back, and by default, we're going to do the same thing we did with the menu. So let's go left, negative 999 pixels, opacity 0. And then let's add the checkbox. So let's go up here, we'll add another one. Toggle modal. And then let's add a button right here to open it. So let's go button. no, sorry, not a button. It's got to be a label. So it's going to be a label for our toggle modal. And then inside, we'll just go open modal. Now we click this, it's going to check the checkbox up here, which we can then use to select this and display it. Let's go back down, and it was toggle modal checked. And then we want to find the sibling.modal, and we want to go left is now 0, opacity is now 1. And then let's copy those transitions from above. So here's the second one. And if we go up, where is it? Right here's the first one. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. This is getting too big. And this goes right here. And then I'm gonna move this up. I don't know why I put it below the media query. Let's actually go up here. Go right above that. And let's see how that looks. Refresh, click it, it fades in. And now we need a close button. So let's just go inside there and go and do another label. We'll go for, it's also gonna be for toggle modal. And we'll just put close modal inside here. And then you click that and it closes. So now we can open and close it. So let's hide this checkbox. Let's go, where do we hide it? Right here, let's also hide toggle modal. And that's pretty much it for the modal. Maybe we'll make this kind of slide in, which might look cool. So let's go back down here and we'll get fancier with the transitions. So let's transition the box now. By default, let's put a transform on it. Translate Y, which is gonna shift its vertical position. We'll go by 40 pixels. And then once it's open, which is this selector, let's go inside modal and select .modal box. And say, hey, when it's open, transform is none. And we'll do the opacity also. Opacity is 1. So go up here, opacity 0. And then let's go transition. 0.2 seconds opacity. 0.2 seconds transform. See how that looks. Go back. Refresh. I click open, and now it kind of slides up, which looks a little cooler. And then you can close it also. There you go. That's how you can do toggles with CSS only. So do I use this on my websites? To be honest with you, not really. I just do a JavaScript little click toggle. But this is a good option for you if you're just learning and you don't want to mess with JavaScript yet. And it's also cool because it'll work without JavaScript. So it's easier and simpler. So I hope this video helped you. Make sure to like and subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.